You have questions, we have answers. This is Jane Muller.
And this is Ken Muller. Welcome to our show, all about real estate with Ken and Jane. Today we have as our guest Tim Cummings. Earlier in his career, Tim spent time abroad living in Haiti. We're going to talk with Tim about his experiences living in Haiti and his recently published book, Blan, that's all about Haiti. Tim, big welcome to our show.
Thank you. Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Ken. It's an honor to be here.
Yeah, so we're doing a little bit of a switch gears today. We're going to talk about real estate and life in Haiti, which is a very different experience than living in the U.S. I think we're going to all conclude that we have a lot to be thankful for being U.S. residents compared to how people live in other parts of the world, sadly. And you're going to enlighten us on that. And but to start with, so let's first talk about when did you go to Haiti and what motivated you to want to go there and live and experience life there?
Many years ago, and thank you so much. So this was back in 2005 when I had originally moved down there, straight to Cap-Haïtien, which is the second largest city in Haiti, after Port-au-Prince, of course. Mm-hmm. So I was going down to work at a school and a shelter for street youth. So these were largely boys who lived on the streets, right? They had either been abandoned by their families or abandoned their families. And, it was a whole new, experience in terms of what poverty is, what despair is, in those cycles of just, trauma.
Wow.
So it was a very intense experience. I absolutely loved it and, had a very difficult time at the same time.
Yeah. So you went down there with the aid of counseling them or teaching them education? Or what was exactly your
there was
role?
a program that we had joined. I mean, essentially it was a volunteer commitment. So a lot like Peace Corps or something along those lines. I had signed up to go down for 2 years. Mm-hmm. So that was cut short, as we'll probably get into at some point.
Later. Yeah.
But essentially it was sort of like a volunteer project. I got $150 a month. Obviously, I had, the shelter and the food and all the things that I needed. But that was my salary at that point in time. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I was alarmed to find out in doing my research on Haiti that according to my stats, there's about 1.3 million Haitians have been displaced by gang violence.
Yeah.
So there's a large population of youth that are just living homeless or on the streets, so to speak.
And so much has changed since I was there, of course, right? I mean, this was 2005, 2006. The earthquake, I believe, in 2011, which was, you probably know better than I do, Ken. But, a lot of tragedy has surrounded that. And most recently, it's a tough place to be.
Yeah, and they said, I guess there's been 32 coups. I mean, they have what I guess is similar to a democracy on paper with the president and a Congress, but there's been a lot of overthrows, a lot of instability. There's challenges we're going to get into with the healthcare, the infrastructure, the electricity, running water, things that we take for granted living in the real estate. We talk about Central Jersey. We're in the top probably 99.9% of the population in terms of life standards, the things that we take for granted. We complain when the roads have too many potholes, but in Haiti, I'm sure there's a lot of undeveloped areas where they're,
there's no road.
There's no roads. The rural areas in Haiti, people live in wooden huts still, and there's an outhouse in the back from my research. So it's a very... So talk about what was your accommodations like when you were living there?
I was in a nice house. Don't get me wrong, right? It was a brick house with a nice roof and obviously no air conditioning. The power was unpredictable. So I think at one point we went for about 4 weeks without power. And that was always interesting. I'd come home with... Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Ken.
No, I'm listening.
Yeah. And, that's an interesting experience. Obviously, I was a young guy, right?
Yeah.
So early 20s. And I probably, I don't know if I could do it right now, to be honest with you, just because I've become so accustomed to the privileges that you're talking about that we have here in our day-to-day lives. But, I remember at one point, we didn't have power. It was going on 3 or 4 weeks. And I would come home at the end of the day and I'd just be, driving back from our work and from a full day. And I'd be thinking to myself, gosh, it'd be so nice just to be able to go inside and turn on the light switch, rather than light the little lamp and walk around in the dark. Yeah. And it took a long time to get that back up and running, and it's a result of a lot of different factors at play. But the line essentially went down the road from us, and it just took forever to get it repaired. So if something like that happened here, it would be within hours. Right, that power goes out, and usually it's back up and running pretty quickly because we have the infrastructure in place to make it happen.
They don't have the same.
Otherwise, the township, the mayor Feng
That will start ringing.
We can go back to Sandy, and of course, some people were without power for maybe 2 weeks or even longer. But that was an extreme
One in a lifetime.
Once in a lifetime. But in Haiti, the Haitians experienced that routinely.
And I think that's a great point. I mean, I think the thing that you experience there is that you really are living in a different way in the moment.
Yes.
Right. Here we have the ability often to think ahead. Right. So what am I doing tomorrow? What am I doing next week? What vacation am I going to take in 2026? Right. We're planning. That doesn't always exist for so many people across the globe. Right.
Yes.
Not just in Haiti.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful and sort of tragic at the same time. Right. I mean, everybody has to make their own decision on that. But you really do. I mean, you go to bed at night and you think, when I wake up tomorrow morning, I'll figure that out at that point. I don't know if the food will be there. I don't know if the refrigerator will kick out, overnight if we did have power, and everything will be spoiled. I don't know if running water will be available. I'll figure it out when I wake up. And that's an interesting way to live.
Yeah.
That's really,
And how did you find the spirit there? What is the spirit of the Haitians, the youth? Share with us that insight, how this psychologically, their mindset.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, I fell in love with the Haitian people and the Haitian community. They are beautiful people. And one of the things that I really tried to encapsulate in this book was that. And I hope I succeeded there. I met some of the most incredible individuals I've ever met in my entire life. And I continue to. The Haitians that I get to engage with in the States they're just such lovely people. They're so resilient. And I am consistently in awe of all that they overcome on a regular basis. But just their views on community and togetherness and family are absolutely beautiful, and we have a lot to learn from them as it relates to that.
And I think your book, we're going to talk a lot about your book. Your book, Blan, captured the daily lifestyle of Wilson and his wife, and that the fact that they were going to the market and then she became pregnant. They were just going on a day-to-day basis to make ends meet. That was their whole goal, was to come back. And the long journey they had from him going in the morning to work and then having to get a ride back, sitting in like a cart in the back of a truck, and just and having to go an hour or so, and then going to the marketplace. And it's just so much insight into what their struggles are.
I really appreciate that. And I've heard that from a handful of people who have read the novel, that it really is giving them a good look into what life is like there. And that's great. And I mean, truthfully, I was riding on top of trucks and, hanging onto the side and, things my parents probably wouldn't be too happy to hear about, and things I probably wouldn't do now either. But that's just how you get around.
And most of the roads aren't paved, right?
No,
You're lucky if you have a trail or a dirt road and you have the sand and the dust just
There's no traffic lights. I mean, if you can learn to drive in there, New York City's nothing, right? Really, right? Yeah. It's every person for themselves and find your way. So, when I got up and running there, I felt very comfortable. With driving. That was fun.
Yeah, I guess the capital has the infrastructure similar to what you would expect in a city, but right outside of that, and then a few other cities, there's not much of a infrastructure. Right, it's
the rural
areas, right?
The rurals are really interesting. Yeah. I mean, I think we visited one where we were able to actually track down the family of one of the boys who we were serving through our program, and we went out there to visit with the family, and it was like a 4 or 5 hour bus ride, a motorcycle ride on the back, a 3-hour hike, and I think I was one of the first white people that some of the people in that village had ever seen.
Wow.
Which was very interesting, right? So, and that's the way it is.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
What inspired you to go there? You're brave man.
No.
It's 20 years ago. That's not that long ago. So
I was very ambitious, and I still am, I think, right? But, I think I had people. 2 years before that, I had been living and working at a soup kitchen in Philadelphia. So, when I finished my undergrad, I went and joined, similar to Peace Corps, but domestic. Yeah. And it was just a really inspiring experience as a young person. I really got to see the pains of our own world here. I mean, it's just 2 hours away, right? Philadelphia and Kensington. And I worked with this great group of people. And it really kind of just, it motivated me and intrigued me and inspired me to want to go deeper. Yes. And when an opportunity provided itself to go and move down to Haiti and live and work there, it was clearly like, well, this is a way of going deeper, right? This is a way of how do we, as humans, engage in the world and create our own impact, right? Yes. What does it mean to try to make things better for others? And so I took the plunge, and it was a great experience on so many levels.
And was your family worried about your venture? At that time, we did have cell phones, so I guess there was, but I don't know how effective.
They weren't
novel
good.
You talk about
your
characters, that the two guys that went down there and their experiences, and one of them being away from their girlfriend, and then the struggles that he has every time coming back at Christmas time for the holidays, and then deciding to go back there, and then her not being. So I don't want to spoil the whole.
Oh, come Come on, don't give it away.
Don't give it away. But it's very, but it had me reading it. I'm like, man, I wonder what's going to happen with this relationship. I felt myself getting engaged with this book to the point where I wanted to continue to see, are they going to get married? Are they going to break up? What are they going to do? What's going to happen? Is she going to go with him? You left the reader in,
thank you, Ken.
in curiosity mode.
Yes.
So
it was tough for my family, right, and the people close to me. I think a lot of people struggle to understand why, and I don't think I understood that at that time, but I do now.
Yeah.
I mean, if one of my children said to me, "I want to go do this," I would probably say no.
Yeah.
Because you're worried maybe about their safety and about the civil unrest, the political unrest. It was just in the most recently elected president in 2016 got assassinated. And that now I don't think they have a president. They didn't declare a president yet, but that was
I'm not sure, Ken.
President Juvenal Mos was elected, and then in 2021 he was killed by gangs. So there's still, unfortunately, there's the criminal element, which is controls, I guess. But whenever you have an impoverished country, there's always different elements struggling for control, and it's hard to on that.
And I think that's the point of the quote that I added to the front of this book, right, where we say "Chien grand goût pas couché." A starving dog does not lie down. So, we are animals at our core, right? We need to eat, we need to sleep, we need all these things. But what happens when you don't have those pieces in place? What happens when despair begins to set in? And what steps might you take? And I think that's where, pulling from my own lived experience, being on the unfortunate end of an armed robbery, I harbor no resentment or anger for the people who did that to us. Thank God we're okay, right, and made it through it. But when you go down there and you experience what these people are going through, you kind of start to get it, right? What would I do if my loved one were sick and dying in a hospital and there were only one way out, right? What steps might I take? And when so many other pieces around you are not there to help support you, when there's no family, when there's no social infrastructure to help support you, what do? And that's the story of Wilson. And it was painful to write.
Yeah, that's an amazing take on it, because I was wondering in the initial part of the book how the two volunteers were going to collide with the native Wilson and his family. Wilson is struggling, and then he gets an injury, so he can't do his job, and then his wife is pregnant, and there's conflict. So it's very interesting how those how their paths collide in an unexpected way. And we don't want to spoil the novel, but just to say we're
going to give it all away
to read it. And while we're on that topic, with this novel Blan, if somebody wants to order it, can you give us the details how they can
for sure,
obtain a copy?
Yeah, thanks, Ken. So it's just on Amazon right now, and this is one of my deficits.
It from too,
yeah. So it's just on Amazon. I'm trying to figure the whole thing out, right? Like, I'm not a trained author. Right. I didn't go to school for this. I don't know this world, right? I've been in the nonprofit space my entire life. So if anybody's listening and wants to help, I'd gladly accept it. But I mean, ideally, I'd love to find an agent or a publisher to take this to the next level if it's good enough, right? Like, I like to think that I wrote a good book, but obviously I'm biased. So this, right now it's just on Amazon. I need to figure out, and I'm working on the steps to get it into other outlets so that people could buy it at a bookstore or, Barnes & Noble or an indie bookstore or something along those lines. But it's currently only available on Amazon in paperback and ebook.
Yeah. Maybe look into audiobook, because for me, I'm getting older now, to read a book is going to be hard. Plus, I'm always on the run.
Sure.
I always enjoy audiobook. I buy audiobook on the membership.
But I enjoyed this one. This was one of the few books I actually read and did not do the audiobook, because when I enjoyed it, I look forward to, when I put it down, I look forward to picking it up again. And that's a good sign. When you engage the reader, I think that's a good sign. That
I really
the book
appreciate
is a
that.
success. At least in my opinion, I think it's a great read, because it's historical, but it also has a mystery, like an intrigue. You want to find out what's going to happen with these characters, how they're, and like I said, with the relationship with the boyfriend, girlfriend, and with Wilson. And I'm thinking, like, how is Wilson and these two guys? They don't seem to be, they don't seem to be crossing, but then they do cross towards the end of the book.
It's been really interesting to get feedback. I think your point is well taken, Jane, too. I think that audiobooks, I don't know if anyone's going to want to listen to my voice reading that for, the hour or so that it takes. They'll probably fall asleep. But I think it's a great point.
Voice.
Oh, thank you, Jane.
Listen to it.
Thank you, Jane. I'm going to have you record it for me.
I tell you, Maria, my daughter, our daughter, Maria, and the daddy had a fight for the book.
Oh my gosh!
So they're both. I mean,
why didn't you buy two?
Yeah, they fight for the book.
And she got mad because I creased a little. She was like, I had it in the car, and she said, "Oh, you creased a little bit."
Oh, she was very upset.
Well, you can buy another one on Amazon.
We'll buy a few more. Yeah. We got to take a quick break. We'll be right back after these messages. Stay with us. Okay, welcome back. We're joined today with Tim Cummings, the author of the book Blan. And Tim, how did you come up with the title Blan?
And I'm gonna pronounce it differently for you if that's okay.
Sorry,
but
my
it's
mistake.
Blan.
Blan. I'm very
right. Yeah. So this was funny. I wrestled with this for a long time. Actually, I had several different titles. This was actually, I think, my third iteration. And what kind of where it settled was, so Blanc means white in Creole, right? And if I went down to Port-au-Prince right now, and it's not derogatory, it's just the way that if I go into Haiti right now and walk around, what would I hear all the time? Blanc, 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 blanc. And so I worked with a Haitian graphic designer to do this cover, and I love what he did. He's an amazing guy. He's cited on the inside here. But this is obviously an outline of the country, and then the word Blanc. So I really wrestled with it. And, this is a delicate book, right? I mean, it's culture, and it's black and white, and it's history, and it's how we engage in other countries, right? There's a lot of complexity to this, at least I think. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, I can't change my skin color, right? I can't change the lens that I where I grew up and what I see things. I mean, I can always be open and receptive to new ideas, and we all should continue to do that, of course. Right. And we should do it with respect and compassion for one another, always. Mm-hmm. But this largely is an experience of a white guy going into a black country. And what does that mean? And a white guy who, when everything went wrong for me, I still had a safety net at home that could pick me up and take care of me at any point in time. Yeah. That is not reality for every individual in the world.
Yes.
Yeah, and what Wilson goes through, I mean, you can almost see why desperate times call for desperate measures, and not to say that doing committing certain acts is you can't say it's justifiable, but you can have empathy for that individual for doing that, because it's almost like the motto, I'll do anything for my family, for my wife, for my kids, my children. And that's what I think a lot of cultures have that mindset.
Yeah.
I think you should approach some movie directors. I think this gonna
You know anybody, Jane?
Seriously, I think this gonna make a great movie.
Because let's go, can I say the part of this
many layers.
The book is fictitious, but it's partly based on your experience. Correct. And you obviously gave a twist to it. When you went down there, were you down there with any friend or buddy?
I was,
you were down there,
so really good guy,
because in the book there's two characters. There's
it pulls a lot from real life, but it's obviously all built out, right?
Yes.
So,
were you in a relationship at that time?
Yeah, I was.
Did you have some? And did you have some of those struggles with?
Yeah,
with
and that's just reality, right?
Okay, so that's why it felt real. Yeah.
So it definitely is. It's not autobiographical entirely. Obviously, it's all built out, but it's
built out.
But you also, I mean, as a first-time author going through this again. Maybe I didn't do it the right way, right? Like this was just me kind of diving into this experience. This took me 9 years to write this novel.
Okay, wow.
Right? And because it was a lot of stepping away from it, because it also pulled up a lot of trauma in my own life, Being engaged in an armed robbery is not an easy experience.
Let's talk about that now. What actually that happened when you were, that's what cut short your trip. Originally you were going to be there for a year, and then you went
2-year commitment and came home after 6 months.
You came home. Were you there 6 months straight, or did you break away for the holidays?
Came home for a little bit, in between.
Okay,
just
but
for
then
a quick visit.
And then after the quick visit, you went back to engage in that additional time, and then thereafter, at some point, you were the victim of an armed. And you can see, like, not that it's justifiable, but you can see the need for people to just survival instincts kick in, and I guess they're hungry, they feel despair, no hope. So it's not.
Don't talk too much, because audience want to buy the book and read it.
No, of course.
Don't tell to.
No,
otherwise you spoil
it's got a great
it.
ending. But that's just something that
I came home when I came back, and again, a very interesting experience. And there's so much to this experience, and it literally was the darkest moment in my life to date, right? But the beauty of this, and what I use this often, just in my own struggles, if I'm going through something or someone else's, this dark moment of despair led to some of the most wonderful, beautiful things that I also have ever experienced in my life, right? And namely, the union with my wife and finding my way back to her, who's just like my partner, right? I mean, she is. Our family that we're raising and things, and obviously getting back, my family, my extended family, my parents and my siblings, we've always been very close. But there's a lot to this story, so it's all worth sharing, I think, in some ways, and it's just the journey of the human experience.
Yeah. Yeah. So we won't say too much more about the details of the book, but it's a fascinating book. It's got suspense. It's got excitement. It's got mystery. It depicts the life living in Haiti, the conditions, and
I am very grateful, Ken. I've been curious. I've been wondering if I wrote just a big pile of rubbish, but I'm really grateful to hear that you actually
loved it. Yeah,
it really means a lot. It truly does, and the feedback's been really interesting to receive. So can I share, if you don't mind, that this is so right now. I mean, moving forward, and there's a note in the back of this that always moving forward, I'm always going to be redirecting a portion of the profits to charities in Haiti.
Yeah.
But for the first 6 months, and one of the reasons I really want this thing to go out with a bang is because for the first 6 months, any money that's coming in is going right back down to Haiti for an organization down there that my wife and I support. So, that's why I really would encourage people to pick it up and spread the word. I think I've sold like 150 copies so far. I've put up 2 social media posts. I don't know what I'm doing. This is not an area of expertise for me. So if anybody is interested in helping with that, I'd be delighted.
Yeah,
but
we have some contacts with some
publishers.
I think there's a few outlets.
I think you know what? Just think loud here, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you and Maria can do some video. Just say what you experienced with reading this book, and then post it on the.
I think anything
social
you
media.
can do, and you should post it more on your social
something.
media. Or
I know I'm not I'm a failure at social
Yeah.
media. This is an area where I continue to fail. It's a deficit of mine. That's on me. So but it's a great
publisher
suggestion
to pick it up, and maybe they would then help spread the word, especially since everything is donating to the charity right in Haiti. At least for the first initial 6 months or a year.
For the audience there, please, if you're near the computer or not, your phone, but please don't look it up the phone when you're driving. So when you stop, please look up the Amazon. It's very simple, and you can find the book and click purchase, and the book will be on the way to you. That's what we did. Yes, when we heard about the book, and Maria was curious to read, so we bought. She bought it. I have to say, she bought a book, and Daddy started wanting to read, and then and then So, but if you interested in this book and also would like to help, your donation will be greatly appreciated. Thank you. Yeah,
absolutely. So when did you start writing? You said it took you 9 years to write the book. So you came back in 2005 after your
2006
or 2006, and then you took a break, and then what? So it occurred to you. So it's 9 years. I guess the book just got published recently.
So over the course of the past 9 years.
Past 9 years. Okay, so going back, so it took you about 10 plus years. You collected your thoughts. You say, you know what, I got to put this.
It had sort of been an idea I was carrying in my head for a while, and I came back and, I was definitely experiencing some PTSD from the actual event itself and treated that, got the help that I needed at that point. And then, went through some stuff, and life happens, right? You get busy. We were having our kids, growing a family. I did an MBA program, and I was so used to waking up at 4:30 every morning to, do all my work for this MBA program. When that finished, I was like, well, you know what? I did this. I'm used to getting up at 4:30. Let me start writing now. So I was waking up at 4:30 and writing. And there were moments where I'd sit in front of the computer and bang, 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 bang. And then there'd be moments where I'd be pulling out the little amount of hair that I have left, and nothing was coming out.
Yeah.
But if at some other point, I'd love to share the story of this had a whole different ending in the first go through.
That's what you were saying off the air when we met at the last.
It was very funny. It was very funny. So it used to be 110,000 words. The book in its published source at this point is about 81,000. So we had 30,000 words cut out of it. It had a whole different ending, but I'm really happy with where I was able to land. And it wasn't just my own work. This was, consulting with other individuals, and I had a lot of mentors along the way. So I'm grateful for their presence.
It takes a village to publish a book, I think, right? It's a lot of input, a lot of editing, a lot of getting the typesetting, getting somebody to, getting the printing done, getting the cover design. That's a whole very detailed thought process.
A lot of people much smarter than me were a part of this, so I'm grateful for their presence.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
A lot of time, right? This book is like give people a perspective to view our own life.
Yeah.
Now we complain about
Route 18, which has nothing to do with the mayor or anything else. It's just to do with the virtue.
That's a county road.
They're upgrading the utility lines. So we have better service lines.
Right.
And where people get complained if they're in traffic on Riders Lane, or they're during rush hour if you go on certain highways. But we have all the supermarkets. We have the Trader Joe's.
Ken, remember your friend, right? I wouldn't name the name.
The people there.
Ken has a friend, right?
The people.
He will be upset if he go down the lunchtime, try to buy type of sandwich, if they run out that type of bread or whatever, the meat, whatever, it ruin his day. I used to say, why that ruin your day? I come from China. You're grateful you have lunch.
But that's what I'm saying with the character Wilson. You don't know what they go through on a daily basis until you read how they have. It's a journey every day to come up with money, come up with food. These are struggles that we take, that most of us take for granted.
I mean, a lot of time, right, we see, we always have our standard, the law, the principle, whatever you hold, right? Think about it a moment. If today my daughter is starving to death, the only way I can get her something, if I see bread lying somewhere, belongs to you. The only way I can save my daughter's life is take that. I think I would.
It comes down to like animal instincts. It's almost like we are animals in the sense that you're gonna. Nature kicks in, and you want to do what's best, just like the
for
lion
your
will
family.
protect its cubs. You're gonna protect your kids. And that's what I think something that this book exemplifies with Wilson and what he goes through and the battles he has with his wife. And then also healthcare. That's something that if you don't have money, you don't get any treatment, which is something that's typical in a lot of those countries that the poor countries, there's no universal health care. And if you don't have the money to afford it, they'll let you die, right?
And if you don't feel good, I hear your point, right? And if we've all had colds, we've all had aches. When you don't feel well, it sort of permeates all aspects of life, right?
Yes.
And if it's consistent, think of that, right? I mean, I hurt my toe playing soccer the other day, and it's been bothering me for weeks. And it's always on my mind. Right. So I think that, what happens there, and I think to your point earlier too, it's a lot easier to complain than celebrate the good things that are going on.
And with Wilson,
and identify them.
And with the character, he hurt his foot pretty badly. And it was painful and it's awful, and he couldn't work properly, and it was struggling. So your book really captures a lot of different angles, a lot of things to think about, from different personalities, aspects. So
I'm really grateful for your feedback, and it means a lot to me to be invited to talk a little bit more about it.
Thank you. I have read the book.
And we're almost out of time. So once again, please give your contact ordering details for the book, Blan.
Blan.
I'm sorry for the...
No, not at all. Listen, everybody's mispronouncing it, so that's the way it should be, because, we're always learning.
It's Creole is the main language
Creole,
there, and then Creole, and then French is, I guess, partly, right?
Yeah, it's a beautiful language. It was a lot of fun to learn. Sadly, I'm forgetting a lot of it because
that's what I was going to ask you. How did you
yeah.
communicate? Because when you went
I was
down,
studying and learning.
You had to learn that language to convey your message to the youth there, right?
Yeah, which was great. Yeah, that was really cool.
Okay, that's a whole other aspect. Yeah, we didn't cover that.
And when I came back, I was living and working in New York City, where there's a much more significant Haitian population. So that was great. I was able to continue to work on it. Now I'm a little stranded. Right, and that's on me. I need to just, connect with the Haitian community here more fully. But I'm not, that's not where I'm at right now. But so it's been great.
Go ahead, listeners, get the book. Go to Amazon. On Tim Cummings. The book is Blan. It's a great read. You won't regret it. Thank you so much for being our guest today, Tim.
And you guys, I'm sorry, I forgot to put my hat on.
Oh, there you go.
I apologize. I've been sitting here.
All right.
Yes, thank you. It's been great to be here. Thank you.
All right, great to have you. Thank you, guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks.